The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi,
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and our freedoms. It's a beautiful morning in downtown St. Petersburg. It's 52 degrees and clear skies. Nice chill in the air. Always good for us. And the number here is 877-927-6648. I'd like to remind you, first of all, please pick up our Primal Edge, or over 310 organic cell-ready liquid ingredients. And it's all powered by fulvic and humic acid. And of course, we know that takes the good stuff in your body and detoxes the bad stuff out. And also, please pick up our new Health Signals newsletter. Have the first one for the year out. Starts with what we were talking about last week, Nixon, the Dutch art of purposely doing nothing. And we're very good at that, that's for sure. And the number here is 877-927-6648. So Paige is not here. I expected her to be here, but maybe I got my days crossed or something like that. She should be back soon. Coming into the new year, I kind of wanted to go over some of the nutritional advice that we're given in the past year or the past few years and see how it gels. I found this article on Outside Magazine by Christine Byrne, and it's called The Worst and Best Nutrition Advice of 2019. Let's see what they say about it. She said, this is a weird year for food. Scientists grew surprisingly good plant-based meats products in the labs. Some people decided to eat nothing but meat, and other people barely ate anything at all. Seltzer has made a comeback, she says, and researchers developed wearable tech that could tell you when you needed to drink water, when you needed to eat. And some outside editor was experimenting with drinking an entire gallon of water a day. Okay, that's a lot of detox there. Amid the madness, a few ideas drifted to the top. Ones were evidence, some of them were evidence-based, so there was not too much. So let's read on. So first one of the thing it says here, the skipped celery juice. In May, wellness guru Anthony Williams published a book claiming that daily celery juice can detox your body and provide all kinds of dubious health benefits like flushing toxins from your brain and curing asthma, addiction, and Lyme disease. It caught on central issues, but none of the claims were backed by scientific evidence. But, you know, a lot of these types of things like celery juice and prune juice and things like that have been really in our society for years, the kind of old wise tales types of things. And these things are handed down because they do work, I think. And even though they didn't do a trial on this thing, doesn't really say that, you know, celery juice can detox. It probably flushes some things from the body, but that's not to say it's the end-all to be-all. The author goes on to talk about the fermented foods for gut health. The gut microbiome is a relatively new area of study, but there's promising evidence that the unique makeup of healthy bacteria that exists in our bodies are a key factor to our health, that's for sure. We know that these bacteria are the things that digest, and what they poop out is actually what we're living off of, and that usually is ketones. But getting probiotics and prebiotics in supplement form probably isn't your best bet. Currently, there's no evidence that long-term continued consumption of supplemental probiotics maintains wellness. Well, I think there is quite a few studies on it, and a lot of people are doing it, and I'm one of those people in that ballpark, because I really don't think we eat enough fermented foods, and of course, this is where you get a lot of that bacteria from. And that's not really our culture here in America, but if you know any people who are vegetarians, they're probably doing some kind of fermenting and drying and all kinds of different things to make these fruits and vegetables easier to digest, because they do have a lot of them. Now, wild plants have the most, of course. And it's funny because these dark colors in the plants, when you go out looking for plants and they're wild and you know they're edible, they're very powerful and you don't need much of them. And most of them are used as herbs and used for seasoning, to season up the meats. This is traditionally how we use these things. And we didn't use a lot of them, but we also, we used them in different ways. We fermented them. We cooked them many times. Sometimes we cooked them and boiled them and fried them and did all kinds of different things to get that bacteria to make it easier to digest. The same thing goes with meat. You know, if you're eating raw meat, it's hard to digest. You cook it a little bit more, and the more you cook it, the better the flavor is. And of course, you don't want to overcook it, but you get the drift. It's easier to digest for our bodies. And you know, if you go back in anthropology and look and see where the change took place, where human beings all of a sudden discovered fire and started using fire for their meals, their brains got bigger. We used a lot less energy to digest our food, so we became a lot healthier, faster. We were able to evolve much more quickly because not all of our processes were in developing this need to digest food constantly like the ruminants do. The cow has its face in the dirt or in the grass all the time because it's always eating. It has to do. That's the mechanism they use. And they create in their various stomachs all this different types of bacteria that we don't have. So we need to do these things. We don't have a stomach where we can throw our stuff in and let it ferment. It ferments right away in our stomach, and that's where the gas comes from. So let's go on. The next one is keep fermented foods for your gut health. Of course, that's what we were just talking about. So the next one is skip intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is a time-restricted diet during which you only eat a set period of time during the day, and that's usually maybe a 2 to 3 or 4 hour window. A lot of people have been doing this. We know that a lot of the doctors that are involved in the NMN precursor for a NAD, nicotinides, they are always saying that one of the things that helps us is not eating very often. In other words, the longer distance between our meals and getting a little bit hungry sets off that longevity gene. And we know that exercise does this. When you get out of breath, that it kicks it in too. We know that cold water does this. We know that extremely hot water does this. So the extremes are really important for us because they do this. And also, I think wild plants can do this for us too, if you use them at herbs and things like that, because there's lots of things in there that are kind of defensive things that plants give us that will turn our body into saying, hey, we need to work a little bit harder. Intuitive eating is another one of those things. Been around since 1995, and a lot of people have been writing about this. The relaxed approach to eating is guided by 10 principles. Honor your health, respect your body, challenge the food police, and all these types of things. It's all about tuning into your own preferences and needs and tuning out messages what you shouldn't and shouldn't be eating, so-called intuitive eating. And the last one here, they are talking about at the end here, skipping keto, don't do keto, and also keep your plant-based eating because that's really important. So I want to go after break. Let's get a little deeper into this and why they're recommending this to us. Stick around, folks. I'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And welcome back to the show. I got a private message from the chat room. Would you recommend kombucha? And I've drank kombucha quite a bit in the past. I don't drink it too much anymore, but it does help your gut because, of course, what we were talking about previously was putting in that type of bacteria that your body likes so it can help you digest your food. And that's one of the things kombucha does. Probably the precursor to soda pop, I would say. You know, so you have the effervescence in there, and you also have the bacteria in there from the mother. So if you're doing kombucha, good idea. Make it yourself, then you know where everything comes from. When it's in the bottle, after a while, we really don't know how much is lost in there. But yeah, it works good. Okay, so let's go down the line here. So one of the things that they're saying in this article, the best and worst nutrition advice of 2019, is skip keto. It says going keto means 70-80% of your calories are from fat, 15 to 20% from protein, and less than 5% from carbs, and that's about right. It's also one of the most popular extreme diets out there at the moment. There is significant evidence that ketosis, a metabolic state wherein the body starts using fat as a primary fuel source due to the lack of carbohydrates, helps reduce seizures in people with epilepsy, but there aren't many evidence-based benefits beyond that, the author states here. But I know there's a lot of doctors using this to fight cancer, and I've been on the keto-style diet, which really began with paleo and primal type of thing, but the main emphasis was always to burn fat instead of burning carbohydrates. It just made more sense. It's something our ancestors did. We already know this. This is not something we just made up here. Our ancestors, and anybody that goes out in the woods and lives there for a while and starts eating the food from the wild, you're going to change to being that fat burner, and a really good one too, because that's what's out there, folks. So they're really pushing this, and there's a lot of articles out right now saying that keto is really bad. It does say here to keep the plant-based eating. Plant-based burgers blew up this year. You can now get an Impossible Whopper at the Burger King. You can get Impossible Sliders from White Castle, both engineered to look, cook, and taste like meat. If you're a vegetarian, why would you want something that looks like meat? They're trying to convert people. That's why, of course. If that isn't proof enough of that plant-based foods are here to stay, consider the fact that according to one report, the global plant-based meat market was valued at $10 billion in 2018 and forecasted to hit $21 billion in 2026. Because it's popular doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, folks. These new plant-based meats aren't intended to be a healthier version of beef, it says here. The nutritional profile is actually quite similar. Instead, they're meant to be more environmentally friendly, to eat what tastes like meat. He said the research for the health benefits are limited by limiting your consumption to animal products is still evolving, but it's promising. It's, when they're talking about this, if we are talking about people who have diets and are eliminating their meat consumption to about 15 to 20% of their diet, that's about what we're talking about here. So we are limiting our consumption of the meat. We're limiting it to 15 to 20% of our diet, and that's a really important part. And then you have that long stretch of maybe 12, maybe 18 hours where you don't eat at all, and this really is good for your body. You get very clear-headed. Your body isn't really interested in digesting all this food all day long. It wants to be free, and this is one of the ways it does it. And just think about it, living in the woods and hunting for food, you're probably not eating breakfast in the morning. You're probably going out and hunting. And we probably ate one large meal, maybe over a 2-4 hour period. And I think this makes much more sense. I feel a lot better on it. I'm not completely there. I do eat breakfast, but I've dedicated one day a week of Saturday mornings not eating breakfast and just having dinner or a late lunch, and that's all. So I'm trying things myself that seem to be working quite well. Okay, so they're really pushing the plant-based eating. The other thing is skip adaptogens, using plants for healing purposes. Don't do that, it says here. It's an ancient practice, but what Western wellness culture really digs its teeth into the idea this year. Defined by scientists as a plant-based substances thought to enhance the body's resistance to various kinds of physical and mental stress are showing up all over. You have all this stuff, all these different smoothies and things. Any wellness claims that brands make that these ingredients are hopeful guesses at best, he says. The nutritional value in these smoothies and things like that are very questionable. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. The thing is, smoothies themselves is a lot of liquid to take in. Usually it's cold, probably not really good for the stomach either. So, it's not so much the ingredients as maybe the practice itself, but the art of using plants for healing purposes is an ancient practice. It's an Indian culture, African culture, South American cultures. These practices are still being used and very, very successful, and I would put them against modern medicine any day unless you're talking about surgery. It says here, seaweed, very popular now, and keep that because it does have a lot of good things, of course. Kale, spinach, things like this. These are, like any really good green vegetable, has nutrition in it. And nutrition is good for us, and in small quantities, these things are good. And like I said, if you start using kombucha and things like that, and using some of these things that help the gut heal, you're going to be much better off. That's for sure. Now, there's another article here. Experts condemn keto. Talk about that for a second. Get that up on the telestrator. Right there. For the third consecutive year, the annual U.S. News and Business Report ranked the exceeding popular keto diet as one of the worst possible diets to follow. Okay. The ranking is culled from medical journals and government data, plus an input from the panel of health and nutrition experts. Since at least 2018, the review process has placed keto at or just above the very bottom of the list, yet people continue to follow this diet, shoveling heaps of protein and fats into their mouths and eating so little carbs it makes them physically ill. Boy, this is really a description, isn't it? But of course, when we're talking about the ketosis thing, we're not eating heaps of protein. Like I just mentioned, we're eating 10, 15, 20% protein. And if you're looking at keto, what you're really looking at is the quality of the meats. where these animals were raised, how they were raised, what they were fed, how they were slaughtered. These are really important things for people on ketosis, because the value has to be there for us, and that's the whole reason we're doing this. We want to make ourselves healthier. We want to live longer healthier. We don't want the last 20 years of our lives being in a bed or crippled and you can't walk and having all kinds of different things. The core notion within keto, short for ketogenic, is that it forces the body in ketosis, where it preferably burns fat because there is no carbohydrate-derived fuel to use. To achieve ketosis, the keto diet advises getting most of the calories from fat, eating moderate amounts of protein, and eating fewer carbs per day than are in an apple. Studies have shown that this sort of diet can be helpful for children, and here again they always bring up the epilepsy. Even though doctors and scientists have been hollering about this for years, it seems the idea of keto is bad and may finally be working its way to the grander ether. It says a CNN report published on National Keto Day, a thing made up by the Vitamin Shop. And that's the day was the first, I think, Sunday of the 2020. So it's one day in 20, I guess, in 20 years. Experts say it's because the legion of fans are focusing on the short-term benefits of fast weight loss without factoring long-term risk.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back to the show. Kind of ran into the commercial on the last one. I've got this article here. The experts say keto diet is sustainable, so why is it so popular? And this was written by Sandy Lamont from CNN. And America's in the midst of a keto craze. The trendy diet, which bans carbs to make the body burn fat, has kicked Weight Watchers derriere on the stock market. Of course, they're worried about that. And it's endorsed by celebrities, and it's got all kinds of different recipes, of course. Now the popular diet even has a name after it, and the National Keto Day with the vitamins shop. They want to sell a lot of keto-based products, of course, so they name a day after it. And people are getting kind of pissed about it. I think the Dr. Katz, the founder of the director of Yale University Prevention Research Center, says that what justifies giving a day to this fad diet? He says he's no fan of keto and any other diet that restricts entire food groups, calling them unhealthy and unsustainable. Losing weight fast by using a severely restricted, silly, unbalanced diet invariably leads to even faster weight gain. And that certainly can happen if you're losing weight quickly and you go back to what you were doing before. Naturally, the results are going to be the same. People are really knocking keto, and they're really pushing plant-based diets. And this is what I see in the mainstream media. This is one from CNN, Outside Magazine, owned by one of the big conglomerates. So these people are very, very interested in us keeping our, I guess, same old sad diet, the standard American diet. They want to keep us on that. And I can think of several reasons just off the top of my head. Number one, they want to sell food, right? And they want to sell food that probably isn't fresh, because if it's in a box or a can, you can keep it for a long time. It just makes sense from a purveyor point of view that you're going to sell people stuff that is going to be profitable. That's just what America's all about. The problem comes in when you make it the number one rule, right? If you put that on top of a people's health and everything like that. So you can see why they want to do this. Losing weight fast, I went over that. Best and worst diets of 2020 are ranked by experts, with popular one near the last. Absent ketosis, keto is just a false label for some kind of diet that presumably restricts added sugar and refined carbohydrates, Katz says, which frankly any good diet does. So here he's bashing the diet for doing something that every good diet does. Katz's low opinion of keto is echoed by many nutritional specialists across the country. Katz joined 24 other top named in the field, ranking the 35 popular weight loss programs for 2020 and put it out in U.S. News and World Report. I don't have that. I suppose I could look at that and see what that is. 35 number one diets. And most of these things, they're talking about eating beans, legumes. The top honors. The best diet, they say here, Mediterranean diet. Easy to follow, contains nutrients that are known to enhance longevity, has many health benefits, backed by peer reviews. Broccoli makes the list as one of the most nutritious foods, with only 30 calories per cup. They're always worried about those calories, aren't they? Followed closely by the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. These are all diets they approve of. The DASH diet is always recommended to lower blood pressure. The flexitarian diet tied with the DASH diet for second place because it emphasizes the use of whole grains, fruits, and veggies. It's a complicated world, I guess. Whole grains. Let's just think about this now. Whole grains are seeds of plants that want to regerminate. Now, we have large companies now, like Monsanto, that are actually making seeds not viable anymore. So in other words, you can plant them one year, but the seed that it produces is not viable anymore. And this way, they sell more seeds. The idea of farming in the first place was always to reuse seeds so we could keep the thing going, not costing us too much, so it would be sustainable. So we've eliminated that factor. So now we have to buy seeds from a company. Now seeds, if we're going to live off of seeds, we'd have to store them for long periods of time. So think about that. Fruits, vegetables, and seeds are there only a certain time of the year that they're viable and ready to eat. And I would say seeds probably are not even ready to eat at all because you have to do so many things to them. You're not just going to pick up these small little seeds, and there's more on the outside than there is in the inside, and you have to get to the inside to get any kind of nutrition. and then there's still bad stuff in there. But if you're talking about vegetables and fruits, think about it. There are spring vegetables, there's summer vegetables, and there's fall vegetables. And usually they're there for 2 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks at the maximum. And that's when they're viable, and that's when you can eat them. And otherwise, you have to store them. So it's the storage system that makes our food what we eat today, because we're eating apples all around, not even indigenous to America. And we're eating bananas in Boston. So, you know, the whole thing is screwed up. If you want to be in tune with the earth, you would go along with the season. And if you're eating wild plants and then doing the proper thing to those wild plants, then I think you got something. And I do watch a lot of programs on YouTube of vegetarians doing this, and very, very healthy people. So don't think just because I'm on a keto-style diet or I'm eating mostly meat, maybe 95% of the time, that vegetables can't do the same thing. Perhaps they can, but not in the same way we're doing it here now in America, buying it from the stores. You have to change your mind about that, and you have to really dig in deep and see what our ancestors did. And that's what we're trying to do on this show. So what is keto? Of course, we talked about keto is really short for ketosis, a metabolic state that occurs when the liver begins to use stored fat to produce the energy that we use. Liver is programmed to do that when the body loses access to its preferred fuel, carbohydrates, and it thinks it's starving. Well, yeah, it kind of works that way, but remember, if we're out in the woods and we're using plants and animals from the wild, we're automatically in ketosis because these plants are bitter. They're not sweet. They don't have the sugar in them like our normal carbohydrates does. We did this over thousands of years because we like the taste of it. We weren't really concerned about our nutrition. That was before. We were concerned about selling food and giving people color and doing this and advertising it. And this is how we ended up in the mess we're in today, because we have people pushing a certain food that necessarily we wouldn't be eating. It was recognized long ago that denying the brain access to glucose and convert it into a ketone-based metabolism dampens your brain electricity activity. But why on earth would you want to dampen the brain electricity? Maybe it's being overworked. Maybe that's why. Maybe people are having ADD. Maybe we do want to slow ourselves down. I get that feeling every time I'm on my phone. Everything is going too fast, folks. I need to put this phone away. So doing away with these devices, even though we use them incessantly, we need to find time to just get away from it all. And that's the food part too, you know, time to not eat for a while. Our ancestors did this. It made us a very successful species on this planet. And now it doesn't look like we're quite as healthy. So we come back to the brain. We're going to continue this a little bit more. I got another subject after this, but I wanted to go into this thing about what is dirty and what is clean eating. So stick around, folks. Got a little bit more.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionics, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're a trader in the market looking for exposure to gold or gold mining equities, then now is a perfect time to sign up for Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. The summer is over, gold is trading back above $1,500, and the 10-year Treasury is hovering at around 1.5%. Tom O'Brien has been writing his weekly gold report for almost 18 years. There's no one that knows more about how the gold market trades and how gold mining equities react. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, Tom publishes his weekly gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, the dollar, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. As of September 3rd, Gold Report subscribers have 5 active open positions with an average unrealized profit of almost 38% for each position. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up today by visiting TFNN.com. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride a next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back. So talking about ketosis here, and experts say the keto diet isn't sustainable, so why is it so popular? Well, I think it's so popular because people are losing weight, and that's always on people's minds. I think they feel better, they get clearer heads, and they find that they don't get hungry as much, and those are really good benefits here. The author here says creating ketosis is not as simple as it seems. Your liver is only forced into producing ketones when carb intake is drastically slashed. In a keto diet, you limit your carbs to 20 to 30, maybe 50 a day. The lower, the better. Put in the perspective, a medium banana is around 27 carbs. So yeah, it's definitely low. It can take several days to weeks before your body fully transitions into burning fat. In the meantime, it will scream for carbs. Yeah, this is known as the keto flu. Will punish you by sending a zombie to suck out your brain and a vampire to drain your blood, it says here, and a giant troll to jump up and down in your body. Really not that bad, but I think if you're relying on carbs, then switching over, yeah, there's a little bit different. There's also a little fatigue that happens. They call the keto flu again. You also have keto breath, which kind of has a metallic smell to it when your body's trying to switch over to burning it. Remember, if it hasn't been burning fat for quite a while, there's a lot of stale stuff in there. And these are the toxins that are trying to get out of your body. Remember that your body stores toxins in your fat cells. This is your body's way of protecting itself from these toxins. So when the body senses it, especially if you're gaining weight and you're producing the insulin, which is your body's way of shoving the fat into your fat cells, along with the insulin, which is kind of like fat itself too. So you got a kind of a double whammy going into that fat cells. It's grabbing anything that it can that is a threat to the body and shoving it in there and hiding it. And this is why when you start burning these things, you're burning the toxins too. Drinking water might help with dragon breath. You also need a lot of water to try to counter the constipation and other gastric grumblings. Remember that your vegetables and your starchy stuff that you were eating contain a lot of water. So once you get into more of a keto-style diet, you're not eating as much of that. You're eating maybe a little or maybe none. And your meats don't have as much water, so you have to definitely drink a little bit more water. Once that all passes, keto lovers maintain you'll have more energy, more focus in your brain, and best of all, very little hunger. But those effects only last if you stay in ketosis. Cheat a little bit, so yeah, they come back. Well, if you cheat, you're going to be bad. Well, of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? So why would you want to cheat? If you're feeling great, you're losing weight, why would you want to cheat? because the carbs do scream at you, kind of. They're very, I mean, you grab a cookie and you can't eat just one, you have to eat 5 of them. It works the same with all of us, folks, believe me. Therefore, low-carb diets like keto rely heavily on fats to fill you up. But at least 70% of the keto diet will be made up of fat. And remember, we're looking for the most pristine fat that is around the really good meat that we're eating. So we're eating a product that we know is just highly, highly nutritious for us. And the fat just kind of melts in your mouth. And this is where the taste comes from. And this is where the satisfaction comes from. It's a beautiful system we have. Of course, you get all that fat from healthy, unsaturated fats such as avocados, tofu, almonds. They always do that. They always say you can't have saturated fat, which is, of course, the animal fat. And I'll tell you, that's a saturated fat from a good, healthy animal. I don't think there's anything better than that for you. The American Indians knew that big hump on the buffalo, on the bison. That was that fat, that pink fat, which if we were to look at it as being a Westerners, we would say, ick. But they prized that, and they would even take that and leave the rest of it if they were under pressure. That's how valuable and how they knew. He says, here's a twist. You can't rely too much on lean protein to accomplish ketosis. Even more protein than your average 20%, and your body will use that and not fat for fuel. And bye-bye ketosis. Of course, overeating in protein, because protein can be converted to carbohydrates used as glucose to do that same thing. So you definitely don't want to overeat your protein. You want to have the over part in the fat. And that's, I think, where a lot of people have trouble with, is the fat, because we've been demonizing fat for so many years that it kind of goes against our nature, kind of goes against the grain when you say eat some fat. But if you're into jiu-jitsu, or if you're into just any kind of healthy sports, you probably already are eating plenty of really good fat. Thing here, dirty versus clean eating. Of course, the lure of all the bacon fat you can eat was arguably behind the initial success of the Atkins diet that exploded in popularity in the 1990s. It was followed by more low-carb options such as the South Beach, the paleo diet, the Whole30, the Zone diet, and things like that. Yet critics say most initial popular plans have struggled to keep the public's interest. And I think most of the people who were onto the beach diet and the Whole30 diet and the Zone diet have kind of moved over to ketones, because now that's what's in the news. Remember, ketones were a specific diet by measuring your ketones through your urine or maybe through your blood. But it's really the style diet that paleo was, and that the Primal was too. It was the same idea. Remember, it was 10 or 12 years ago that Nora Gagatas was talking about being up in the Arctic and watching wolves, and she'd go to the commissary and she'd eat nothing but butter. And she lost 40 pounds in those 4 to 6 weeks she was up there studying those wolves. And it dawned on her maybe that she had hit onto something really good. Atkins has rebranded, offering different levels of carb restriction called Atkins 20, Atkins 40. We are encouraging people to incorporate foods back into their meals and find their carb tolerant level. And what they're talking about here is once you are getting into this style diet, you're going to experience that you can add a little bit more of these carbohydrates back in there, some of your favorite things, of course, using them as flavoring, but using them much differently, adding the fat to them, cooking them in fat, so that the type of sugar spike that we used to get isn't in there anymore. So that's a good thing, I think. Keto appears to have undergone the same process. They're called clean keto and dirty keto, and I would think this is where the food comes from too. And they have a little shopping list in this article here, talking about the meat, the cheese, the eggs, the butter, the cream, more butter, coconut flour, more cheese, avocados. They really don't like this. It's a pretty obvious slant in this article. Clean keto advocates admit it takes a good deal effort to research food items and plan and prep. So unsurprisingly, many of a keto eater takes the easy way out, eating a diet centered around foods like bacon and cheese and butter and packaged foods. Yeah, if you're going to do this the right way, you have to do the research, and you really have to know what kind of things are going on in your body, and also what kind of food is going to be good for you. And it helps to look at your ancestry, see what your parents and your grandparents and the family had been doing for the past few hundred years, and seeing where you're from, what part of the earth you were born in. And that'll give you kind of a clue what your ancestry is and maybe what you're more susceptible to and what's better for you in that. Stick around, folks. I got a little bit more. We're right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN has put together the best lineup of live content for traders by traders every market day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected minds in the business. TFNN broadcasts 5 days a week live from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have live programming every market day during market hours. Every morning, Larry Pesavento kicks off the trading day live at 9 a.m. and breaks down the opening bell with Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the TFNN Bull Bear Trading Hour, followed at 11 a.m. by the team at TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim with Fast Market. Basil Chapman hosts the Tiger Technicians Hour at noon, Steve Rhodes at 1 p.m. with the Trader's Edge, Dave White at 2 p.m. with the Power Trading Hour, and Tom O'Brien anchors the daily lineup from 3 till 5 as host of the Tom O'Brien Show. Tune in to TFNN's Tiger TV on your computer or mobile device, and you can always find us streaming on YouTube. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hey, welcome back. I got this article here, NMN or NR, which is the best longevity supplement. And of course, I'm following Dr. Sinclair, Dr. David Sinclair regime. And this is really important because the way I saw it when they were describing it, NR or NMM is a large molecule, and it needs to be smaller. So it converts itself in the body to NR, and then it converts itself back to NMN in a smaller form, which enters the cell. And this is kind of how it works. So one of the world's leading authorities on longevity and science behind NMN, NR, and NAD is Harvard scientist Dr. David Sinclair. He's authored over 140 published scientific research papers on the subject of longevity. Many of them address these things. Now, his research indicates that resveratrol, a super antioxidant derived from flavonoids found in fruits and vegetables, and NMN have a huge role to play upregulating the so-called longevity genes called sirtuins. Unsurprisingly, Dr. Sinclair supplements with resveratrol and NMN every day, but not NR. He could easily take both of them, but he chooses NMN. And why? My guess is that given Dr. Sinclair's scientist, he understands how NMN and NR initially on a scientific level work. And it's just NMN is just a better researcher. It's a better research, and it's just easier on the body. So don't look for NR. He recommends not taking NR. He recommends taking NMN. There's quite a few different ones on the market. I'm going to put some more of these contacts so you can decide which ones if you want to start this regime. We started about 6 months ago. I kind of am doubling up on them now. And they really do seem to be working. I feel really, really good. And of course, you never really know if it's something else you're doing. But I'm on this kick for sure, and I want longevity. Thanks for sticking around, folks. Hopefully, Paige will be back next week. I don't know what's going on, but that's the way it works. See you next time. Bye-bye.